we've worked directly with over 50 med spas at this point, and we survey the markets constantly to see what the competitors are doing and to understand the approaches, the tactics when it comes to marketing and the offers that clients of ours are running successfully, as well as their competitors. And so one of the biggest debates is whether you should be discounting your services on the front end, aka with new clients, or if you should maintain your prices and not cut into them at all. And so the first point on the agenda is the debate between the pros and the cons. Discounting can attract new clients, and it must be balanced in order to avoid cheapening the brand. Now, when it comes to understanding what the best approach here is, I want to give you an example of some of the med spas that we work with right now and what we do for them. We have med spas who are running introductory offers for $99, $129, $149, some $199. The highest we do is $299, and really it comes down to the market, because offers don't exist in a void. They exist in markets where other competitors may have run similar offers for months, if not years, saturated the area, and the area has now the chance to refresh itself, to bring in new contestants, new candidates for your services, and so that offer is not going to work there. Now, when it comes to the discounting, and I'm going to challenge the term discounting in a second, what you want to understand as a med spa owner is that you can be absolutely using discounting as a strategy as long as you do it tactically and intelligently. So one way to do that is to offer discounts only to new clients, only introductory new patients, because that way you're not going to create an expectation in your existing clientele to offer those discounts. You're not going to create an expectation of constantly providing discounted services. So use it sparingly. And now I want to challenge the definition, because I don't think you should be thinking of it as a discount. You should be thinking of it as a paid consultation, because really you only have two options here. You have the option to run a free consultation, which is an offer as old as life itself, and it just doesn't work because it's already like tired out, and it's generally just not a good idea. It's just not a good offer. It's been done too much, and the other problem with it is that on a free consultation you cannot collect deposits, so you're going to have a show up issue. Instead, if you're thinking about it as you're basically being paid to acquire customers and to cover some of your costs to break even and above, ideally, so meaning you're covering your agency fees, you're covering your ad spend, you're covering the cost of goods incurred by that service, then that's basically the sweet spot on how to make client acquisition self-liquidating. Basically, you're getting clients, you're being paid to acquire new customers, which is not an insignificant feat. It's a great achievement to be able to acquire customers on break even, to be able to get people in through the doors and to have conversations with them and to console them for free, as opposed to being out of pocket on ad spend. What is it best done with? It's best done with services with low or no COGS. So machines without consumables, ideally. Some laser that you have that's collecting dust at the moment, that's a perfect candidate for this kind of offer. A ultrasonic cavitation, a body contouring and sculpting machine, anything that doesn't have huge COGS, right? So for example, cryo is not a good one because it has the nitro. Although if you buy a big tank of nitro and it costs you about $10 to $20 per session, then that may be a good one as well, and you could probably go as low as $99. You have to be mindful of the fact that the lower you go on the front end, the lower the cost per lead is going to be. Ultimately, that's the trade-off. So a lot of people are reluctant to discount because they don't want to lose that extra bit of money. But by not doing it, they're losing that money on the advertising cost, on the cost per booked appointment. Bad examples. Another example of bad example is injectables and fillers, because they're usually very expensive, right? You're buying a bottle of Botox for $700, unless, and here's the trick here, if you buy it in bulk. Reps can offer some really crazy offers. I've heard stories of reps offering as high as you buy 10 bottles and you get 10 for free. You buy 15 Restylane and you get 15 for free. You buy RHA in bulk and you get that matched for free, which is insane. It allows you to basically buy units for as low as $2.5 for tox, for Dysport. Let's not even talk about that. So that's when you can make some really insane offers. We have a clinic that's doing a 52 units of tox offer for 3 areas of the face, and it is crushing. That offer is crushing. And so now the question is, why do it in the first place? Why offer discounts? And the reason for that is because action changes attitude more than attitude changes action. There's just no way to counteract the necessity for people to come in a clinic, to see you, to see your clinic, to try you out, to have a conversation with a practitioner, with the esthetician, and to build that rapport and to see that you guys are legit, especially since I've never seen you guys before, right? If someone finds a clinic, a spa on Facebook ads, then they don't know anything about this clinic. Sure, they look them up, they look up reviews, they look up all of these social cues, social kind of proof online. But at the end of the day, there's not a substitute for someone actually coming in the clinic and spending time and seeing how nice the spa is, how nice it smells, how good the machines are, how professional and knowledgeable the NPs and the estheticians are. And so clients are more likely to develop loyalty after experiencing the service rather than just reading about it. And that's the best way to put that. Educate the customer, solve the questions in their mind. Our experience with setting is that clients come to us with all kinds of concerns and constraints. They don't know how many sessions they're going to require to reach their desired weight, if it's even going to work for them. They think that their situation is special in particular, and it is in some instances. With facial aesthetics, the skin type dictates everything, the approach, the methodology. Those conversations are best kept for when the people are right in your spa, eye to eye, face to face. And so we're diving into addressing the cheapening the brand concern. A lot of people are worried that if they discount their services, they're going to be perceived as an inferior product, as an inferior service. And that's actually the first point to that. It's the debate between services and products, because with products that may be true. When you're buying Louis Vuitton, when you're buying Mercedes and Apple, that's basically stated simple that you're buying identity, you're buying this thing that you want to flex, right? It's hence the name of the brand. Whereas with the services, it's not so much that same thing. When you're getting a service, you are basically the product. You're elevating your own status. You are the product that's getting polished and refined. No one really boasts that they go to some place, some service providing place, unless they can be seen there. Like, for example, maybe in a very high-end restaurant, and even there they do it because they want to Instagram it, right? In which case, if that's you and people want to Instagram it, then more power to you. You're going to be perceived as a high-end destination for affluent mums in your area. Fantastic. That's actually a good marketing tactic. Have that on your Instagram and get all of that organic reach. Otherwise, this is just not really a concern that's applicable to services, not nearly as much as products. And sure, there is a trade-off there. It's a trade-off that you have to decide if you're willing to, to pay. Because yes, the counter argument to that is that perception of discounts. The discount cheapens the value, but it's something that in our experience and in our opinion is only true if it's abused. Whereas if you remember the first point, if you use it tactically and sparingly for new patients and new clients, for example, it's something that's completely acceptable, and you're going to be using it as and when you're going to deploy it tactically. Now, that's the next point, which is factors like trust, price, convenience is what affects the client's choice of a med spa, and discounting can often be the deciding factor. So if you have two med spas side by side, same amount of reviews, trust, and price, oftentimes the differentiator is the price, because it becomes a commodity at that point. On the front end, until the prospect understands who you are and what your business is about, you are a commodity in their eyes. You're like rice. It's undifferentiated, which is why they need to come in and they need to speak to you and build that rapport. Not to mention that by the time someone invests time and resources, money into your med spa, into the relationship with your practitioner or yourself, they already have this psychological effect of loops of compliance, mini yeses. So they said yes to all these things, they're likely to continue to say yes. And so that is another important thing to bear in mind and to consider, because timing is everything. If you use this only when you need a quick influx of new patients, like when you're a new med spa and you just opened, or you do a grand opening, or if you use it strategically so that you can build your case studies, your testimonials, your goodwill, so you can then start to counterbalance these other things.
who is a prospect more likely to choose a med spa with 20 reviews or one with 200 reviews? If you're going to wait with your full priced services to get 200 reviews, you're going to be there for a long time. If you do a blast of a campaign with a discounted, I really don't like using that term, with a special introductory service, then you're going to get all that testimonial, case studies, goodwill, reviews, word of mouth, and you're going to get it fast, and you're going to be perceived as an authority, and as a affluent, good quality, reliable destination in your market. And so we're going to discuss the types of offers we can create in a subsequent video, and I'm going to put it here as a bullet point, because this actually settles the debate between discount and service that's differentiated, because that's ultimately what it comes to. It comes down to creating a differentiated service that stands out, because it's a bundle of services, and that's super important. We'll discuss that in a second in another video as well. But just to keep things on track, effective for building an initial client base and filling schedules, we discussed that. Discounted services may attract clients who won't pay full price later. Yes, it can, unless you use a very specific clause, which is new patients only, and they do not get allowed re-entry. The fact is that when you look at statistics, the highest payers come from Groupon, 20% of them. And that takes me to the next point, which is, when you look at your cost per lead and your cost per booked appointment, there's going to be very clear winners in favor of lower introductory services, packages, because when you're going to advertise a price of $997 versus a $199 for an introductory, be that laser hair removal, body contouring, microneedling, jet plasma, anything such as these services, you're going to see a dramatic reduction in your cost per lead, as high as 10x. We're talking leads that are worth $5 or leads that are worth $50 or $100. And I know that you could say that you might as well go for the higher cost lead, because the conversion rate there is going to be good and you're going to make more money out of them. But at the end of the day, what's happening is that at different scale, the ratios remain the same. And so what do I mean by that? The show-up rate, the upsell percentage don't really change much. So if you drive 2 appointments that you paid almost $200 for each to acquire, and 1 no shows, your show-up rate is 50%. If you do that with 10 appointments that you paid $50 to acquire, if 5 of them are shows, you still have 5 people coming in through the door, 5 opportunities to upsell. The upsell percentage is going to pretty much hold. Yes, maybe it's going to be reduced slightly if you get the price point a bit too low, in the sense that you're going to get too many tire kickers, brokies, people who cannot afford higher services, but it's not going to be a lockstep ratio there. It's not going to be like a $99 is going to get you a 1% upsell rate, and then like a $1,000 is going to get you a 99% upsell rate. No, not by far. Maybe the ratio is going to drop from 40% to maybe 30%, and you're still better off going with a lower cost introductory offer for volume. Also, collecting deposits is easier on a lower cost, on a lower price points. And bearing in mind that for a $1,000 service, collecting a $100 deposit is really negligible. Like we book $450 lip filler services right now, and we get the same number of no shows even with higher deposits, because for the people who can afford those and who can allow themselves to spend that kind of money up front with all the perceived risks, they are going to be okay to dispose with that deposit and still no show. So that's why you want to play that game at a different scale. And psychologically, it's just going to be so much more reassuring to see 3-4 appointments coming in every day or every other day than 1 every 4 or 5 days. It'll just make things feel so slow, and it can cause unwanted panic, anxiety. So that's not to be neglected either. And so finally, with the discount versus service that's differentiated, this is also an opportunity to realize that actually we're not trying to get one service that we discount. We get the people on the chair, wham, bam, done. We execute the service and then they're out. It's a very different approach. We take a couple of services together, let's say lip flip and filler and facial. We bundle them together. We explain why they need to be bundled together and how 1 + 1 + 1 is not equals 3, it's equals 10, it's 20, it's 30, because we're achieving the combined effect of all these services. And then we have something differentiated in the market, which if we stick a label on, mommy makeover is one of the most overutilized ones when it comes to contouring.
But when it comes to facial, it can be the perfect
Pout, the perfect kissable, luscious lips. It could be anything that basically gives it a label under which the services are secondary. Most of our ads, we don't even say what the service is, whether it's jet plasma or microneedling or fillers, injectables. We just say goodbye wrinkles, hello, new, fresh, glowing skin.
perfect new me, new face, new me, new patient.
New face. And now we have a different offer, which
When it comes to upselling
packages is actually going to be easier, because you're not going to be able to, a prospect is not going to be able to compare you with another competitor and say, oh, well, I can buy it cheaper than. No, they can't, because what you do here is only yours. It's special and proprietary to you.
and so all of these things
Play into the reason why we have immense success with these introductory specials for new patients only. So I hope this is useful. I hope this makes sense. And until next time, let me know what your experience is with testing these for your own spa.